I have with me Professor Sriramya Nair from Cornell University. This is one of the top universities of the United States. What is very important and happy for me is she is an alumnus of IIT Madras, specifically from the Department of Civil Engineering. Ramya, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you back. So let me take this opportunity to ask you some questions of how does it feel when you come back to IIT Madras? When did you graduate and how long has it been?
I was a BTech student here from 2002 to 2006. So when you moved here in 2004, in 2005, you taught a class on construction technologies where we learnt about so many different types of concrete, that concrete is not one thing. There could be so many different things by changing the mixture design. And that was one of the classes that opened my eyes to construction materials and the possibilities, because it was not about what you can do in the lab, but it's about what you can do in the field and all the applications from there. So that was my inspiration to choose construction materials when I was deciding to go for my PhD.
Well, I'm really happy that somebody listened to me in class. I always wonder if people really remember what we've been teaching.
Definitely, you've had an influence. And since then, now that I've come back after 20 years, I think all the changes that you all have brought about in IIT Madras has been fantastic, because you have such a thriving community in concrete where you have 60 scholars that are actively doing research. So it is very amazing to come back to such an amazing community and meet all of you. It's been amazing. Yes.
And what are the personal feelings coming back? I'm sure you have wonderful memories of the campus. How does it feel?
It actually feels like coming back home. So this feels like home. I'm actually visiting India after several years because of COVID and starting this position at Cornell. I haven't visited in the last few years. So this just feels like very uplifting and, just feels like I'm home. And especially like when I opened the door from my Taramani guest house and there was a monkey right outside, it just took me back to my hostel days immediately. Yes.
And I know that you're at Cornell. How does it feel being a professor at Cornell? Is there a lot of pressure? How does one go about being a professor in a top university in the US?
There is a lot of pressure. But I think that most of the pressure is from us, because we want to do the best work that we can do. So I think the pressure comes from us because we just want to do our best work and we want our students to do the best work. That's where the pressure comes from. But I really enjoy Cornell because I get to work with very, very smart students. We have a fantastic group of undergraduate students. I really enjoy teaching them. I'm hoping I'll at least influence one or two students in my classes, like you have done, like through so many of your classes, teaching so many students. So I really enjoy teaching undergrads, and I also have a very fantastic laboratory facility. We have a really great lab manager, because of whom we can do a lot of research. So it's been very exciting to set up my own lab and take the lab in different directions. It's been actually very fantastic journey in the last few years.
That's great. I know that you already have a big group. What are the areas you're looking at? Where do you see the future in concrete technology? Because often we hear that what is there to study in concrete, everyone knows about it, everybody uses it. But I'm sure that you're looking at very specific aspects and guiding students and so on.
Yes. So one of the aspects that we're working on the lab that a lot of people over the world are working on is trying to make concrete more sustainable. So we are trying to understand what can we replace cement with, and when you replace cement with those materials, what kind of performance challenges are you going to have and how do you fix them? So we are working with some of these supplementary cementitious materials, because especially in the US, the amount of fly ash is going down. So there's a lot of interest in other materials that can be used. So that's definitely something that we do in our lab. We are also doing a lot of work on oil well cementing, specifically for geothermal wells, because they get really hot. So the exact same material systems that we can use for civil infrastructure, just the paste part without the aggregates, you can use them for cementing a well. And especially under these harsh conditions, which is high pressure, high temperature, it can go up to 150 degrees Celsius or 300 degrees Celsius. All the knowledge we have about making durable concrete with supplementary cementitious materials or with geopolymers, all that knowledge can also be transferred to these well systems. And that's where I'm bridging my knowledge with civil engineering and subsurface infrastructure. So that's very exciting for me. And the last thing that we work on is large-scale 3D printing and testing. We are very interested in seeing how 3D printing can play a role in structural elements. I know we're already building houses, but there are two-story houses. They're like smaller scale. So we want to understand what new innovations can happen with 3D printing. And I also teach a class on that, so students actually get to design their own structural elements and test them, and they really enjoy that.
Great. Ramya, I see that you're doing a lot of exciting work. So thank you, Ramya. It was a pleasure having you. Keep coming back, telling us about all the exciting stuff you're doing.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to learning more about all the research that's happening here as well. Thank you.